Okay. So, the Canadian Mental Health Association. I was homeless for about 7 years in BC, British Columbia, Canada. The first time I was homeless is when I was 14 years old. I've been on my own ever since. I'm 30 years old. I don't do drugs. I'm now housed. I have a nice, beautiful place with a nice view. But I really lived that nightmare. And, I couldn't understand that how a sober homeless person couldn't seem to be able to get out of homelessness. And the same establishment that was there, that displayed themselves and appeared to be there to help me get out of homelessness, and all these programs and resources and stuff like that is talked about, was there to help me get out of homelessness, it all led to dead ends. And in fact, the same establishment and the same agencies and organizations that claim to be there for mental health, for homelessness and addiction, were actually intentionally, maliciously standing in my way of getting out of homelessness. And it took me a long time to figure out what was going on, because I couldn't understand how organizations and agencies and entities that are literally built to help the homeless population, were actually intentionally stopping me from getting out of homelessness to keep me in homelessness. And I'm thinking, this is insane. This is insane. I experienced abuse from the shelter staff. They were very abusive, very cruel, mean. Off the jump, they were totally, they were rude. They were very belittling towards the homeless. What they would do is they would try to provoke and antagonize the homeless people at the shelter. These are the staff that work there at the shelter. They would intentionally, I would watch this happen. I'm sitting there thinking, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, these are supposed to be the staff that are here for the homeless people, and they're being abusive towards the homeless. And nobody's going to believe you when you say that anyways. So I'm like, bro, why would somebody, work at a homeless shelter to abuse homeless people? Like, they could have any other job or career. There's a reason for that too. It's only an 8-month course. It's an easy career path to $26 an hour to start. I can get into that. I've covered every aspect and every question and every angle to this, because I've sat there for years in depth trying to figure out why, when I was homeless, that the establishment would be abusive towards me, that these shelter staff were cruel to me, and why they tried to frame me when I stood up to them and I said something to them. It was bonkers. It was bonkers. But I made it. I made it. You know what I'm saying? So they're pissed. But now I'm exposing these organizations like the Mental Health Association, which is nothing but a business. And I'll explain. So when I was in the shelter, which is called Emerald House in Kamloops, BC, I experienced the most extreme abuse that I've ever experienced in my 15 years of homelessness, that I've been through, from Hamilton, Ontario, all the way out to BC. I'm from Hamilton, Ontario. So anyways, it was insane. They would literally provoke the homeless people that have mental illnesses that are easy to provoke, because they're bipolar, because they're schizophrenic, because they're struggling with mental illness. They're very easy to provoke. And I'm watching staff literally be abusive towards these homeless people, and then the homeless people getting upset, thinking, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this? And then when you question them and say anything to them, then they automatically say, I feel threatened, and you're kicked out and you're barred for a week. So they would set you up intentionally to provoke you, to try to get you upset. Completely unprofessional. Completely. You ever been to school and had that one kid that would just like intentionally say things to get you mad, or like intentionally do things to upset you or just distress you, disturb you for no reason? You know what I mean? But with a smile on their face, really sneaky, sleazy way of getting somebody bent out of shape, so that way you get upset and you look like the bad guy. They're professionals at this. They are professionals at this. It's like reverse psychology type of a thing, right? So they must study this. So they're professional at looking professional, but at the same time being unprofessional and trying to do things that are very unprofessional to provoke you or get you to come out of character. So that way you look like you're mentally unstable and they're in the right. So they would practice this and they would use this against the homeless. Isn't this like some? Isn't there a title for this, like narcissism or like a narcissist or something like that? It was that type of behavior coming from staff that work at a shelter, and I'm witnessing this, thinking this is crazy, right? Like, but it's nothing new to me. I've seen this all my life, right? But I could never understand what was going on behind the scenes. So I figured it out. It took me 15 years, and finally, and I'm housed. I got employed to organizations that are similar, that are getting a lot of funding, and they're getting a lot of donations because they look like the good guys. So they create this front, like the Canadian Mental Health Association, right, that claims to be an organization to conduct research and create programs and opportunities for people that are struggling with mental health, right? Seems like a beautiful thing, doesn't it? Wouldn't you invest money? Wouldn't you donate some money to that? I would, right? That seems like something worthy of my donation to help people with mental illness, right? But there's a catch. So it's a well-known fact that as an organization, maybe a nonprofit, you can actually find a social issue, right? Like mental health. You can create an organization around that, and then because you have an organization or an entity or a nonprofit or an LLC, you can now request funding for that social issue that the government is already looking to fund organizations to work on those specific social issues like homelessness, addiction, and mental health. Are you starting to see the bigger picture now? Okay. So these little guys, they create these little organizations, and they know that they're not doing it because they're like, oh, we want to help people with mental health. They're like, yo, what's a way that we can make money around a social issue that we can request funding for and look like the good guys in the public and the community, so that way people donate towards this cause. So this is a way, that this is a method we can make a lot of money, right? And look like heroes at the same time. So this is actually the true intent behind the establishment of these organizations. And it took me 15 years going through homelessness, experiencing abuse from these organizations. Well, the shelters and the shelter staff I experienced abuse from. And then I had to figure out who runs these shelters. And then I started to dig, and I found the organizations that are running or created that shelter, or at least owning it at that point in time. Maybe they bought it from someone else that had good intent. I don't know, because it's a business. Now you might think, well, how is it profitable or beneficial for these organizations to invest money, right, into building a homeless shelter if they weren't good people trying to help the homeless people and people with mental illness? Well, that's a good question. How do you look at a business? Look at it from a business perspective, right? You have to invest your own money. If not, you have to raise money to get capital to invest into a business idea, right? Maybe it's a store. Whatever. Take a look around. There's many businesses everywhere you look, right? Every one of these businesses originally had to be invested in. They had to be created. And once you create the business, the consumer comes, right? And then you start to make your money back. And then once you make your money back, after that point, it's all profit after that. Now think about this. You're never going to make money from your business if you don't invest in your business first, or if you don't create the business. So you have to create the business first in order to make money. And you have to raise money or invest your own money into that business to establish it first. And then people will come, your consumer, they'll consume, you'll make money. Now you might think, consume, this is not a business, this is not a consumer business, but here's where you're wrong. They built the shelter to display themselves in the community that they are doing something good for a social issue in the community, right? So they establish themselves in the community by doing something that people would favor in their hearts, like helping the homeless or people with mental illness. People would have compassion towards that and think that's a very good, a nice thing to do. Once that's established and they are established in the community, now people start to donate money. They know this because this is not new, okay? It's not them reinventing the wheel, okay? This has been going on for 100 years. Do you know that? I hope you know that. This is not new, okay? So this is a business model, okay, that has been established for a long time, very long ago, okay? So they already know if they start a shelter and it's a community effort and it's for a social cause that people are invested in their hearts, that they can get funding from the government, private investors, and also collect donations from the community. Okay, now you're starting to see the bigger picture. So build the shelter, now we can get the funding, now we can get the favor of the community and their donations. And what happens is this organization or entity that claims to be there to help the homeless and the mentally ill and the addicted, and I have proof of this because you might not believe this, but they pocket 90% of the revenue generated, and they put maybe 10 to 9% towards the cause to develop some statistics or hard proof that they're making progression. And if they're making progression, that's what their funders want to see. That's what their donors want to see. That's what the government wants to see. They want to see that this program is becoming successful and the money that's being put from the government and from these private funders and from the community is working, and it's making progression towards that social issue in the community, which is bettering the community. Yes, exactly. When they have these statistics that they are making some progression, but not fully, completely fixing homelessness, or, no amount of money is going to fix mental illness. And that's another front. Like, all this money that they're generating, which I can show you screenshots, videos, and all types of evidence of them out there asking for donations and collecting. And I'm going to expose the players in the game, the individual that runs, that is the chief executive officer of the Canadian Mental Health Association, right? This is crazy. There is layers and layers and layers to this. I experienced this firsthand, and this is why I'm making this video, because I discovered it by being homeless. Like, unless you were homeless for 10, 15 years, there's no way you would ever be able to see this. You would never be able to identify what's actually happening. On the outside, on the surface, it's just going to look like organizations that are directly trying to help with social issues like homelessness, mental health, blah, blah. That is the front, that is the display for the community and everybody else, so that way they can get more money and pocket it. It's a lot of money, believe it or not. There's so much money, you have no idea. Millions of dollars around homelessness, addiction, $100 million a year. I'm telling you, I will break it down. I have the proof. I've done the calculations, the numbers. I know how much the Salvation Army makes. I know how much these organizations make, okay, because I worked for some of the organizations affiliated with these organizations and actually saw them apply for grants and how they do it and how they get grant writers and they work with them to get grants and what they do. They come up with ideas to fix social issues and then they request funding for it. Victoria is infamous for this. This is what they do out here. It's disgusting. The reason why I'm even exposing this is because I was a homeless person that's sober, that doesn't do drugs, doesn't drink, but I couldn't get out of homelessness. And I was abused by the shelter staff. I was abused by the people that are employed to these agencies and organizations. And I couldn't understand why they were being mean and cruel towards the same marginalized people that they claim to be there to help. That is psychotic. But that's how the devil works, isn't it? Haven't you ever had that friend that pretends to be your friend so that they can just get something out of you? This is very similar. very manipulative, right? Smile in your face to, and get close to you to get something out of you, right? This is the same type of a thing. You don't realize it though. So let me get into more detail because this is very in depth. Very in depth. So anyways, now that I've painted that picture towards you. So the abuse that I went through in Kamloops, I was homeless all across British Columbia, and I went to all these shelters, and that's a very unique experience. Most people are not going to travel all across Canada and go to every single homeless shelter in Canada. Not every single homeless shelter, but, in BC pretty much, from Courtenay all the way to Victoria, from Vernon, Kamloops, through the whole Okanagan Valley. I had to go to these shelters, and it was all the same thing. So, and then when I came to Victoria and got employed to organizations and seen how they actually work from the inside, then it all was confirmation that this is really happening, man. Like, and then when I got that close, professionals started becoming very unprofessional, and they actually started to try to frame me. Started to make things up about me because they know I'm a homeless person. I have a criminal history. If you have a history of mental illness or anything like that, you can immediately be targeted by these professionals, and they can flip on you and switch on you, and nobody's going to believe you because they are the professional. They are the person in the community doing the good community work, right? They look like the good guy. They have power, and they did it intentionally because anybody that would be abusive towards the homeless or towards people that are mentally ill that work for an organization that claims to help with those things has to be extremely evil. You have to be evil, and money is the motive. That's the thing. People will do anything for money to take care of their families. They'll kill you over it. And it's a shame, man. The whole thing's a pyramid scheme. Everything to do with homelessness, poverty, addiction, and mental illness. These entities are put up literally to capitalize off of these things, and the people that are going through these illnesses and struggles are getting nothing. I couldn't get a pair of socks at that shelter. The food was expired. It was making me sick. I had to spend my money, my little bits of money that I had to eat outside of the shelter just to keep myself not sick. It was making me sick. And it literally felt like they were putting some type of a chemical in it that was altering me in some way mentally. And I felt that and noticed the change, and I stopped eating the shelter food, and that started to go away. And then I made sure that I never did that again. Then I realized why people are stuck in homelessness and they can't escape. They're being attacked from every angle, and you have no idea. And it's from the same entities that are there, that claim that they're there to help. Now, you might think, why? That doesn't make any sense. Well, it does. Because if they were to fix homelessness, if homelessness were just to be fixed in Canada, all of a sudden everyone's housed, there is no need to request any more funding around that social issue, right? Right. Do you understand that? Right. So they only put the 9 to 10% towards the cause, so that way they don't fully correct the problem, because if they correct the problem, there's no more problem, which means there's no more need for a solution, which means there's no more need for those organizations, and there's no more need for them to be requesting any more funding from the government or donations from anybody else, right? Exactly. There you go. This is why homelessness hasn't been corrected in a country like Canada that has nothing but abundance in it. That's why people are starving and getting fed expired food at the homeless shelters, and they're being abused by the staff, because this is a business, okay? You are nothing but a product of that business. And it took me 15 years of going through homelessness to figure it out. And because I was sober, I was less than 1%. The majority of people that are homeless and that are broken and mentally ill, that have extreme trauma, maybe they were raped as a kid by their own parents, you know what I'm saying? They are broken in ways that you have no idea. The darkness that they come from, you have no idea. You wonder why they're sick. There's something wrong with them because of what they've been through. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. This really happened. So I was the only one that was mentally stable and sober that could challenge the establishment and identify the patterns of what's happening. Because I used to be a criminal. I used to sell drugs. I used to kick doors in and rob drug dealers. I used to sell crack. I used to sell coke. I'm from Hamilton, Ontario. Go find that out. Go find out what Toronto and Hamilton's about. That's the hood of this country. That's where real poverty comes from in this country. That's where real gang shit comes from in this country. Okay? So I come from the fucking straight slums. Way worse than BC. BC's a walk in the fucking park. But that's why it couldn't destroy me. That's why it couldn't flip me. That's why it couldn't discredit me. It's because I'm too established already. So they've never encountered somebody like me to get inside of that system and overcome it, and not only overcome it, but then get employed with the same organizations that were stepping on me, just trying to stop me from getting out of it. Because they want to keep homelessness in the current state that it's in, and mental health and addiction, because then they can continuously request funding and obtain donations year after year after year, which is employing people, and it's putting a lot of money in a select few people's pockets. Okay, it's a pyramid scheme, it's a business, it's a system, it's a beast, it's a machine, bro. Yeah. And now, and you know what they got? They got the whole society blaming the homeless person and the drug addict and the mentally ill, saying you guys are lazy and you're a bum and you don't want to get a job. Meanwhile, they're getting poisoned through the food at the shelter. They're getting abused by the staff. They're getting fucked with mentally. Like, reverse psychology tactics are being initiated on homeless people that are already broken mentally and have mental illness, right? So that way they get bent out of shape, and then they can kick you out of the shelter and, whatever, right? They can just have pure power over you. And that happened to me, and I couldn't believe it. And I was like, yo, I'm not one of these motherfuckers that you can do this shit to, bro. Like, I'll hop over the counter and start fucking knocking you motherfuckers out, and I'll go do my time. I'll get out, come back and do it again. Which I was escorted out by police. But you know what? I knew that I could smash these motherfucking people that are doing this to the homeless people and doing it to me when I was homeless. And I'm like, you got the wrong motherfucking guy, buds. You guys are gonna get beat. You know what I mean? Physically and fucking in this game, in this game that you're playing. You guys don't want to fucking play with me. You know what I'm saying? And you definitely don't want me to get my hands on money. And you definitely don't want me to get a fucking condo, with a nice view and all that. You don't want that, right? I was homeless for 7 years in BC, right? That's my plant, Minty. Check that out. 7 years I was homeless out here. You can't tell me shit. Go Google me, Corey Resilient. You go see the news articles and the documentaries. The reason why I'm doing this is because I don't like bullies, man. If I was sitting there seeing somebody bully somebody smaller or weaker, or some mentally ill homeless person, I would go and fucking walk up and just smash that person that's doing that, because they need to feel that. They really do. The law is protecting the wrong type of people. You know what I'm saying? The law is enabling, this bullying, and then if you say anything about it, now you're the bully. Now you're the bad guy, right? Like, you're not allowed to say anything about the whole LGBT community and stuff like that, right? There's definitely something wrong with our system. But anyways, which these organizations are pushing that agenda as well, but I won't talk about that because my whole channel will get deleted, right? So, right. So anyways, Emerald House, Kamloops, BC. Corrupt. Canadian Mental Health Association, which is run by Michael Anhorn. He lived in Vancouver. He sold his house, big ass house, and moved to Toronto so that way he could pack his campaign up and go and run it out there. And that's exactly what he's doing. And I looked it up. If you look him up, you'll see his LinkedIn that says that he's the chief executive officer of the Canadian Mental Health Association. If you look his Facebook up and you look on the information of his Facebook, it says that he sold his house. He says he sold his house in Vancouver, he says, and moved to Toronto. And then that really struck me, because I tend to notice this with the CEOs of these organizations. They like to travel around and run their campaign. When they run dry in Kamloops or Vancouver because there's no more funding and people have figured out what they're doing and they can't get no more money, they go to another place like Toronto, big ass place, lots of money there too, biggest city in the whole country, and he goes there and sets up shop, runs the same campaign, employs some people to also run the same campaign and go out there and ask for donations and promote the Canadian Mental Health Association and that they're helping and they're running all these programs, but really the programs and all the things that they're investing in or running is only costing a fraction of the amount of money that they're actually taking in. That's a business. You invest into your business, maybe 10,000, 20,000, you make 100,000 back. Okay, that's how business works, or else people wouldn't run businesses. You wouldn't see a variety store, you wouldn't see a grocery store, you wouldn't see a shopping store, you wouldn't see a clothing store, you wouldn't. That's how a business is run. I've studied business, I've actually had multiple businesses and been an affiliate of businesses, promoting and advertising these businesses, making money from doing that, commissions. So I know business very, very well. Bro, this is crazy. I can't believe this is happening. But you stepped on the wrong guy. See, if I can't beat you, if you try to step on me or snuff me out or fucking frame me or do some sleazy shit to me and fucking try to play with me mentally to get me bent, I will beat the shit. I'll just smash you. That's what we do where I come from. People don't fucking try to fuck with people where I come from. They get in the dumb guys that do that shit, they get stomped the fuck out. They get stabbed up, shot in their fucking face, beat the fuck up, right in public in front of the cops and everything. We don't give a fuck out there where I come from. Don't fucking play with me. I'll beat the shit out of you. I don't care if you're a professional or pretending to be a professional or any of that shit. I will fucking beat you up. I will go to jail. I'll get out. I'll come and find you and do it again. All my boys are fucking pen timers. We don't give a fuck. Don't play with us. We're not victims. We're not victims, but like, you know what I mean? You try to victimize me, you're gonna get victimized. You know what I mean? Don't fucking play that role, bro. You're gonna get bent. You're gonna get beat. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Wrong guy. Wrong guy. Oh yeah, they fucked up. I was the only fucking homeless guy that did 7 years out there in the streets and fucking made it into a fucking condo and got employed to all these organizations. I did that on purpose just to prove it to myself that this shit is a fucking, it's not real, bro. It's not real. The whole front about homelessness, I really thought it was. For a minute they got me, man. They made me think that they're really out there trying to help. And I said, this is what I want to do with myself. This is what I want to do. I got certifications as a peer support worker and everything. I have certifications from verified sources, like from reputable sources, like the Victoria Foundation, like AVI. I have certifications, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was trying to go down that path of employment in a career because that's meaningful and purposeful to me, because I actually was homeless. These people that are working at all these shelters that were abusing me have never been homeless. And if they were, it was for like a day or two. And now they think they're a part of it. Fucking goof. If you were homeless for 10, 15 years, then you can crack to me. And try staying sober the whole fucking time too and not killing yourself. Especially when you got fucking shelter staff kicking you out for false reasons to make you sleep on a dirt bed outside with no fucking blanket, just to deteriorate your mental health even further. And this is the same people, the same shelter that fucking are run by the Canadian Mental Health Association. Bro, I'm telling you. I'll get into the gangstalking side of that shit later. That's a real thing. And these organizations are initiating and engaging in that. Something called gangstalking. Look it up. It's actually real, believe it or not. But the thing is that it targets people. See, this is the beauty of this. It really actually all comes together. It really does. So the whole thing about the gangstalking, right, is this program that actually targets people, and it's like getting blackballed everywhere. It's like having a group of individuals that have some type of power, influential power. Maybe it's government entities, maybe it's RCMP, maybe it's just civilians that, whatever, but they organize themselves in a way to maliciously cause damage to you or your life by basically, I don't know, spreading lies about you to employers to make sure you can't get employed, whatever. There's many levels. There's many levels to it. You know what I mean? But basically, it's just people that are fucking with you to try to get you bent out of shape, and then when you become bent out of shape, they take a picture and say, look, this guy's fucking mentally unstable. You fucking weirdo. Like, it's just a provoking type of a program. You know what I mean? But in a very organized, structured way. But here's the thing. So it only targets the homeless and low income and people with mental illness, mental disabilities. And that's weird because the organization that runs that shelter is called the Canadian Mental Health Association. And the fucking video that I made about this 4 years ago actually got 65,000 views. It's called Guy Catches Gang Stalker in the Act and Gets Framed. That's the title. That's what I called it. Right? You go look that up. Corey Resilient. Guy catches gang stalker in the act and gets framed. You'll see a picture of me wearing red and a red hat. Got 65,000 views, bro. And I exposed the Emerald House and what they were doing. They were initiating and engaging in something called gang stalking towards me and the other homeless people there. And little did I know, I didn't even know at that time, which was like 4 years ago. I just found out that the organization that owns that shelter is the Canadian Mental Health Association, bro. Oh man, the irony, right? So they know I'm figuring them out now. They know they've already been exposed. My video got 65,000 views. That's pretty fucking hefty. So I guarantee you nobody's ever been homeless there and exposed them on that type of a level and got 65,000 views on their video exposing that shelter and the abuse that the homeless people are going through from the staff. And the craziest part about all this that made me realize that this is a business is traveling across Canada and going city to city, province to province, and experiencing this type of abuse and behavior and pattern in every single establishment, every single shelter I ever went to, every organization attached to that shelter. I was like, wow, so this is a business. This is a huge thing, right? And then when they run out of resources from milk in the community and the government, they go to a different province and they set up shop and start running the campaign there. Wow, what a machine. So, and preying on the weakest marginalized population in the entire community, in the entire world. The homeless, the mentally ill, the mentally disabled, the people that are broken from trauma, that, you know, grew up in the street since they were 14, abused by their parents, you know, exposed to drugs at an early age, maybe even from their parents, got them to smoke crack. You know, my dad had me selling crack and coke when I was 15 years old. I was kicking doors in and robbing drug dealers at gunpoint at 16. Like, that was, I didn't want that life. That life inherited me. That was a culture where I come from. That it was not a choice. You know what I'm saying? But and you wonder why people are fucked up after they go through shit like that all their lives. And then they want you to function like normal in society after you've been abused and actually targeted and fucked with by society and by the entities that claim to be there to help you get out of homelessness. Now that will fuck you up. That will really fuck you up. That'll really make you not want to get a job and really make you not want to go to a homeless shelter and be in a tent outside instead. That'll really make you not trust the establishment and the system and the resources that claim that they're there to help. And you wonder where the problem's coming from, right? Okay, all right. I think we fucking figured this big ass pyramid scheme out. And you know what, you motherfuckers, man, if you guys are seeing this, I'm telling you right now, you fucking guys are not tough the way you think you are. You think you want to be evil motherfuckers. So I messaged, what's his name? Is it which is it? Andrew Burrows? Andrew Burrows. So I went and found out the Emerald House. If you type in Emerald House, Kamloops, BC, you'll see it pop up. Hit website, you'll see the website. Now, that website also in the domain has the initials of Canadian Mental Health Association, the initials in the domain. So I ran a recognizance tool against that website to find out who the users or the admins were of that website, which is legal, by the way. It is illegal to do that. And I found out who the admins of that website were, which is the website for the Emerald House in Kamloops, BC, right? Do I seem like I'm mentally ill? Didn't think so. I'm pretty smart, aren't I? Right. But they try to act like I was mentally ill, and they try to discredit me and say that I was crazy just so they could kick me out and shit. Anyways, that happened to me in Victoria too. I beat them too. You guys are a bunch of pussies. Anyways, so Andrew Burrows and Shelley Trudeau were the admins of that website. And who owns that website? Or what organization is connected to that website even? What's higher up than just that? The Canadian Mental Health Association. So it was the Canadian Health Mental Association, you know what I'm saying? And then there's like, these guys running it. And then there's the Emerald House Shelter and the staff that work there. Right? Yeah, okay. So then I go to the Canadian Mental Health Association website, the actual website, not the Kamloops one, the actual website, right? And I run the tool against that, and I find out who the admin is, and it was Michael Anhorn, the Chief Executive Officer of Canadian Mental Health Association, the one that lived in Vancouver and sold his house and went to Toronto, and now he's running his campaign out there. Right. After everything I just told you, if you can't see this fucking play that's happening, then you were just not meant to in the first place. You can just go ahead and go back to your fucking matrix, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, this shit is crazy. These are the organizations that are engaging in this gang stalking program to basically contribute to the deterioration of one's mental health. And when I say one's, I mean the homelessness population and the mentally disabled population, people that are struggling with mental illnesses and mental disorders. These are the population that is targeted by this program. And it contributes to the deterioration of their mental health, which is good for these organizations because then they can ask for more funding because they need more money to continue to run these programs, to continue making progression year after year after year so they can keep getting funding. Meanwhile, if they would just stay out of the way and stop contributing to the deterioration of the homelessness population and the mental health of the homelessness population, and they would stop fucking with them and putting abusive staff in these intentionally in these shelters to target these people, well, maybe people would actually be able to evolve out of their circumstances, get well enough mentally and physically so that they could overcome homelessness and become independent and contribute to society. But they don't want these people contributing to society because if they do get established and get a condo with a nice view and they get employed and stuff like that, which is very, very rare that happens, and they know that, and I know that because I've been in the streets all my life. If that does happen to one of these homeless guys, well, now they're a credible source. Now they're employed. Now they do not appear as mentally unstable or mentally ill, clearly, because they're established in the community and they're housed and they're employed, right? And everything's well. Now they pose a threat to those people and those organizations and those entities that abused them back when they were homeless. Like me. Fucking coward, goof, bitch motherfuckers. I want to go and find them and fucking traumatize them. But it's a part of the program to get you bent so you go do that so that they can throw you in jail and put you even further behind in life, and then you really aren't going to be a credible source ever, especially if you're a criminal or a previous homeless person or somebody that had an addiction previously or a mental illness or mental disorder, which is bogus anyways. That's a whole another story to get you further embedded into the system and dependent on the government and dependent on the pharmaceutical industry, pharmaceutical drugs. That's why the entire time that I was homeless, I never gave in to the bullshit. You're the reason why you're homeless because you're depressed and you don't know it. You need to take these pills. You need to take these medications. You need to take anti-anxiety. You would have anxiety and be depressed too if you knew the fucking shit that I know and seen what I seen and went through the abuse I did. Right? It's normal. It's not abnormal. But they'll say it is, and they'll say you need medication or it won't go away. Wrong. I defeated depression, anxiety, and everything else. If anything, you don't defeat it, you learn how to live with it. You learn how to manage it. And you do that by not taking the pills, not taking the medications, not giving into the system that's going to chew you up and spit you out. This is all interconnected, all of it. The government, the pharmaceutical industry, the organized gangsters are profiting and also taking the percentage off of all these organizations. The same guys that are dropping the bricks off in the crates, they're all connected. Trust me. I have evidence of that and proof of that, but I'm not going to display that. I'm going to keep that to myself. That's as far as I'm willing to go. I'm not going to call, you know what I'm saying? This is the thing. I'm not here to talk about the gangsters and all that and the criminal element of that life, you know what I'm saying? I'm exposing the professional world that are claiming to be professionals, that are preying on the weak, bullies, pussies, right? Those are the people I'm going after. When it hits the criminal element, which all this is really a criminal element, but when they're not real gangsters. These guys are pussies. They're pretend to be professionals that are, never been homeless, never know nothing about no gangster shit, completely separated from that gangster life and that gangster world of the gangsters. But the gangsters are involved at the top level. But I'm not going to go any further than that, because that's not my that's not my thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go. I could snitch everybody out. You know what I'm saying? Because I know everything, but I'm not a snitch, so I'm not going to do that. But when it comes to preying on the homeless, and you guys claim to be professionals, you're not gangsters. So this ain't me being a snitch, snitching on fucking people that are pretending to be professionals. If you're a gangster and you're a criminal, and I'm out here speaking about your activities, your criminal activities, then that's dry snitching. It's not even snitching, it's dry snitching. So that would make me a snitch. But I'm not, and I didn't. And so you need to know, right? And I actually come from that life and that street life, so you can't tell me what a fucking snitch is. You don't know none of that shit. And if you tried to call me some shit like that to my face, I'd fucking slap you so hard your fucking eyebrow would come off. But anyways, that's besides the point. This shit is real. And these guys fucked with the wrong guy. Corey Resilient. And I have a set of skills that these people have absolutely no idea about. It makes me very powerful, and if anything, very much a threat to the establishment. And I have influential power. I have influence. My video exposing all this shit got 65,000 views. This is very real. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people know about it. But it's very quiet. Very quiet. And it's built in such a perfect way that makes it look like such an innocent entity that's there to help. The devil comes in an innocent form, bro. It comes in the form of a friend who shake your hand and give you a hand up. And then you owe it something. But I'm telling you, man. So anyways, this is just one front. This is the Kamloops chapter, okay, that I experienced. Not to mention Victoria. I've already picked Victoria apart, and I got more serious videos coming. I could call people out by name, organization. They know it. They know that I'm a fucking threat. They know they're fucking coward pussies, and they couldn't do shit to me. Even if they try to get me whacked or some shit and put 20 racks on my head, the fucking hitters will probably come and fucking split the money with me. Split the bag with me, because I grew up with the fucking hitters. So you think that's gonna work on me? You guys are fucking twisty. You know what I mean? I grew up with the hitters, you fucking dummies. And they ain't gonna put no money on my head. I'll fucking flip that. I'll fucking give him back the money. I'll pay him double to go whack your shit off, you fucking punk goof bitch. You know what I mean? How about that? That's a real game that gets played, buddy. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not worried about these guys in any way. Zero. I already got everything taken away from me, framed, politics, false criminal accusations against me, kicked out of every shelter because I exposed them, blackballed and blacklisted from everywhere, couldn't get a place, couldn't get a job, couldn't do anything. They literally just tried to destroy my name and my credibility. But I still prevailed. And I will again. Even if everything gets taken away again, I'll do it again. Because I already did it. And I know not to break, not to fold, not to give in to drugs, not to give in to the mental illness that they're trying to actually manifest into my existence. In a very subtle way, with a smile on their face. With a tag that says, I'm a professional and I work at a homeless shelter and I care about poverty and homelessness. Fucking goofs, smash. Fake fucking frog goofs. Pussies, man. The worst of the worst. Cowards that prey on the fucking elderly, prey on the fucking mentally ill, prey on the homeless. You guys are a bunch of goofs. Come meet me outside when it's dark. I'll fucking beat the brakes off you. And I don't care about jail. I've been in jail all my life. I don't give a fuck. The only thing I care about is kill. I don't want to kill it. I'm not trying to do life in jail. That's for sure. You know what I'm saying? But I'll beat the brakes off you. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah, so I'm not, but that's the thing. It took everything inside of me, especially someone with a violent history, not to fucking beat these people up that are doing this shit. I had to level up intellectually. And then I posed the real threat to their fucking system, because people find this out and they see this, like their private funders and sponsors and, you know, the community itself. That's going to really, you know, cut their funding in half. So now you're fucking with their money now. So that's when the big gangsters would probably get involved, right? And they'd be like, yo, you're fucking out here fucking our fucking program up. Yeah? Then cut me a check, bitch. You know what I mean? How about that? Or I'll just fucking deal with it the way I fucking deal with it from where I come from in Hamilton. How about that? What do you want to do about it? Let's do it. You know? I'll call my fucking hitters. You call your, go get your guys. Fucking meet you over there. Goof. I don't care. Fuck off. I'm not getting stepped on, you fucking birds. You know what I mean? You're not gonna snuff me out. Like, fuck, buddy. Like, go do that to the civilians. That's what you guys are doing, right? You thought I was one of them because I was homeless? You thought I was one of these, you know? You thought I was weak. They thought I was weak, man. They thought I was established in the streets long before any of this shit, you dumb fucks. You know what I mean? So you can't take nothing away from me, ever. Look at what happened. Look what happened. I was in a tent a year ago. Stupid. Hey, I'll do it again, too. I know how to do it now, bro. Like, that's the thing. You can never stop me. Even if I lose everything I got right now, it would be a fucking nothing to me. I would just do it again. Harder this time, and then you guys are getting stepped on even harder. Then I'm coming to your front door. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you guys better just stay the fuck out of my way, and that's exactly what's happening right now. So anyways, I'm disgusted by this country. I'm disgusted by the organizations and entities that are involved in this mass genocide of the homelessness and mentally ill populations in a strategic, organized manner that they've conducted this. Primarily for financial gain, but also appearing as if they don't make a lot off of this. Well, yeah, you do. And you know what? I could tell you numbers too. There's big, huge, you would be fucking shocked. It's crazy. I'll do that later. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, I don't know. See how this video does. Make sure you share this video, and go ahead, email it to them, send it to them. Find every single homeless shelter in BC and email this video to them. Go on their website, contact like goofs, and put this link. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to discredit and take away from people that are genuine, that are genuinely helping the homeless, helping people with mental illness. Let's not take away from them either, because there are good people and there are good organizations. And you know what sucks? They know what I'm saying is true. And they also struggle with that. But they don't give up. So hats off to those people. Thank you very much for your service, because we need real people like that, you know, and that's what makes a real community, and that's what heals people, is people. So without certain people, you know, that were genuine, that came into my life, I had to learn how to trust again. But you know what, it was a blessing to my life. But so we do appreciate those people. Won't take away from that. They do exist and they're out there, and they are in direct conflict with these other organizations and entities that are trying to steal all the funding, so that way the real organizations can't prevail and can't actually do the good work that they're trying to do. So they're also going through it. Yeah. This is a fucking nightmare. This shit is real. This ain't a conspiracy, but it's like factual matter. Like, you can probably just fucking public documentation about this shit. Like, you know, and there's no better proof than real life human experience, because real experience comes from real life experience, not from fucking books and education. That whole system is flawed and inaccurate and fucking altered intentionally to fit the agenda of this corrupt, distorted system in the first place. So that's the facts. That's what's really happening out here in British Columbia and also in Canada as a whole. Not to mention Canada, but America. It's happening worldwide. It is a business model. Homelessness, addiction, and mental illness is a business, and there are entities and organizations and individuals capitalizing off of this, profiting major big money, where the big guys are coming in and getting a percentage of that. And 90% goes in the pocket and 10% goes towards the cause. So that way there's not a full turnaround of that social issue. Because if they fix homelessness or addiction or mental illness, there's no need for those organizations anymore. There's no need for them to get any more funding. So no more money for them. They ain't gonna let that happen. Okay? It's been going on for a long time. So anyways, that's me exposing the Canadian Mental Health Association, Kamloops chapter, all the way, whatever. I dropped their fucking names in here. I already messaged them and shit and told them I know what the fuck they're doing and everything. And I did enough recognizance and enough, information gathering and research and investigating, as far as I could go before I, challenged anybody in that way, because you wouldn't want to make a mistake and assume or accuse somebody of something that maybe they're not involved in, that it just appears to be that way. But thankfully I spent 15 years in the streets and went to all these homeless shelters firsthand and experienced the abuse in a way that, well, they can't really pretend anymore that they're not involved in this. And then I started to study the organizations that are running these shelters and see what they're doing and how much money they're making versus how much money is actually affecting the lives of the homeless people in the shelter. And there was no resources for us. There was no programs around mental health or mental illness. There was nothing. They never said anything like that to us. They were mean to us every day. They were abusive. We were starving all the time, and the food that we did get was expired, that food that was donated from stores and shops that can't sell it anymore because it's past the expiry date. Yeah. So don't let these organizations fool you and say, oh no, we're doing all this and this and that, and we got all these programs and all these resources, and we're helping in this way and this way. Those are all fronts, and they are very small progressions, very ineffective, not really creating any change or effect in the lives of the homeless or the mentally ill people that are struggling in the street in poverty. It's having zero effect. How do I know? I was there 15 years in the streets. I couldn't even get a fucking pair of socks. I was dying. I was dying. The shelters were full, and I went to every single shelter and I asked them in Victoria, I said, can I please, if you guys are full, can you please just give me a blanket? Sorry, we can't do that. Holy fuck, I'm like, really? You're gonna let me sleep on a bench? Because I couldn't get help. I couldn't get a blanket, bro. I couldn't get a pair of socks. I went to the fucking Salvation Army and asked if they had anything to eat. They're like, sorry, we only got bread. But they make $28,500 a month off the homeless people. They give you 30 days for free at the Salvation Army, and then they kick you out if you don't pay the $600 a month, bro. There's more than 3 dorms, but there's 3 main dorms, and there's 30 men in each dorm. You're living in a homeless shelter with 30 other men that are going through mental illness, addiction, alcoholism, stealing, all kinds of shit. And you think you're going to prevail from that position and get a job and work your way out of there? No, you're not. And then on top of it, you're paying $600 a month to live in a dorm with 30 other men that don't fucking sleep and that stink. And like, there's all kinds of elements that are going to block you from being able to get yourself healthy enough to work, to get yourself independent. They know that too. And they don't fix the conditions because it also contributes to this entire pyramid scheme. It keeps keeps people homeless, keeps them stuck, keeps the need for funding, keeps people having money in their fucking pockets, keeps the homelessness population deteriorating, which also contributes to the population reduction. This shit is real. Can you not see, like, do I sound like I'm fucking mentally ill to you? Like, dude, I'm a sharp, good-looking young man. I'm a smart fucking bro. I could show you guys some things that I know how to do that you would be like, there's no way a mentally ill person could be able to fucking do shit like that. It's not possible. Okay, so this shit ain't working no more. You guys can't do nothing to me, man. There's nothing you can do. Your fucking time's up. You stepped on the wrong guy. Deal with it. You know what I mean? You're not going to profit off the homeless no more. You're not going to profit off of mental illness anymore. And you're not going to profit off addiction anymore. And this is the type of shit that gets people assassinated and shot in their fucking head, because there's a lot of money involved in this. And it would be nothing for them to just give, 20 racks to a fucking Toronto hitter to come fly out here and fucking, try to blow my wig off. I don't even think they got reach like that, but you know what? Some of them do, bro. Some of them do, man. And I'm not going to say no names, but, one of them I might have mentioned in this video, Maybe they're affiliated with fucking, who knows, some organized gangsters, maybe some fucking hitters in Toronto, maybe some bikers. I don't know. It's a fucking mystery. It's a mystery. But yeah, well, fuck you. I don't care. Kill me. I ain't got nothing to live for anyways. You know what I mean? That's the life that I live. You already fucking killed me already. So I'm on my way out, gripping and hitting and smashing everything on the fucking way out. So you want to do it? Let's do it. You know what I mean? I'm down to fucking make a bunch of racket. Fuck, I'm going out with a bang, buds. You know what I mean? Fuck. It is what it is. So all I gotta say, man, share this video. Share this video to every single homeless shelter you can. Everything you can possibly think of, share. Because I want them to see me face to face. You know what I'm saying? I want them to fucking hear it, Because it's mass genocide, and they're preying on the weak and the homeless and the mentally ill. You're a bunch of coward fucking goofs, and you're profiting off of it too. Off of my struggle. You're making money off of me, bitch. I'm not no slave. I'll fucking smash you. You know what I'm saying? Try to do that shit to me. You fucking goofs. No, you got the wrong guy. Anyways, that's the truth about homelessness in Canada. It's the truth about, mental health organizations. Not all of them, but at least the Canadian Mental Health Association. And if they're not involved in that, and they don't know that the shelter and all, the organizations under them are engaging in this type of behavior against homeless people and the mentally ill, they should really have a better system in checking in on these type of people that they're hiring. And maybe they should go and talk to the homeless people and ask how they're being treated by the staff. You know what I'm saying? People who claim that they want to contribute to community and help the community and we're all community and everything. Well, yeah, you can't just let a specific population of the community, of people that live in our community, die off in a homeless shelter and fucking starve to death. Yeah, so yeah, we do have a responsibility to take care of people that can't take care of themselves sometimes. So don't get fucking mad and be like, oh, my tax dollars fucking paying for here. Fucking shut the fuck up. You're lucky I don't fucking just get a gun and rob you motherfuckers in the first place. You know what I'm saying? You don't get it. People grew up in poverty in the hood. There was no jobs. There was no school. There was no career, bro. Their fucking kids had guns at school and shit. You're privileged. You grew up in a fucking non-hostile environment. So you never had to be aggressive. You never had to be violent, which never put you in a position where you could obtain a criminal record at an early age, which would fuck you over for the rest of your life. You've never been through trauma and abused by your own fucking parents, which caused you to fucking do drugs at an early age to numb the pain that you were going through and the darkness that you fucking endured from people that you trusted. And then you want us to function in society when fucking our own parents and the own people that we trusted, including the system, the establishment, is literally fucking trying to annihilate us? Are you fucking stupid? Stop attacking the homeless people. Somebody's gonna come outside and start knocking your fucking heads off. Bitch.